Hey, welcome to Tomorrow's Kingdom podcast. I'm your host, Kelvin. On this channel, we like to focus on financial freedom, tips, advice, stuff that the everyday citizen, no matter where you are, which country, state, anything, gender, whatever, how you can achieve financial freedom. And on this episode, I don't got no motivation. So, how can this help you guys break those same boundaries that I'm facing, that we're facing on the everyday basis, right? So, let's get into it right after this. All right, so tip of the week. Tip of the week is basically, any action is action, right? No matter how big or small it is, don't downplay it. Use it. Just remember that no matter how small it is, right? Finance, health, whatever you're going after with your goals, maybe reading a book or, whatever, right? No matter how much small of an action you think you're taking, just remember that there's somebody else out there that's not taking any action. Zero action, right? So use that to your advantage, right? Use it as fuel to just say, like, you know what? I wanted to finish this book in, 1 month, right? I wanted to do one book a month. But let's say you got halfway done, right? So not even of 75% of your goal. So, but don't try and downplay yourself and look at the negatives, right? At least say, hey, you know what? I finished half of the book, but somebody else out there hasn't read any books. They haven't even started, right? Same thing with health wise, maybe diets, right? That's a much more big one that people mess up on a lot. They started that and they stop, finances, investments, anything, right? Whatever action you're taking, and let's just say you miss it, you miss your goal, you miss your deadline, your weekly goals or your monthly goals, don't focus on the negative. Look at the positives, right? Positives rule everything. A positive mindset is just so much more fluid, and it rolls so much more better, right? When you look at the bright side of things, is that you're taking action when somebody else out there is just not doing anything. So that was the tip of the week. Now, back to this motivation. Obviously, you see me drinking this is coffee, right? I got no motivation. I am like done, dead done, right? Uh, Back is messed up, jacked up, my back. So much to do on my plate, with real estate investment. I'm trying to go after another property and teach and YouTube and podcast and all this stuff and editing. You know, my plate is full and it's overflowing, and my motivation is not there. And I know many of us, maybe not in the same situations as myself or the same scenarios or whatever, but our own plates are also full, right? I mean, life don't care what you got; they just pour it on you, and then sometimes it's just a little too much. And how the hell do we deal with that, right? I don't. Doesn't matter which country you're from. Excuse me. No matter which country you're from, you know, life is life, right? I mean, it hits you, and motivation only gets you so far, right? You could start off good, like that. Hence, New Year's resolutions, right? Everybody starts off the New Year's resolutions and they're like, yo, I'm gonna kill it, I'm gonna destroy it, a week into it, and your back break. You break your back, right? I mean, what you supposed to do? Like, man, you just gotta focus on the negatives, like focusing on looking at like, whoa, man, I jacked up my back, I can't do this, I can't do that. Man, this is how we start off 2021, and the world is still crazy. There's no sign of hope. Oh, what am I gonna do? Life is still going to continue, and it's going to pass you by if you keep looking at it on the negatives, 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 right? Hence the reason why I'm still here, right? I missed the podcast last week because I broke my back. I'm going to just keep saying that, right? No excuses, but, I got a little better hold of it. I was sunk in. I know many of us feel that way also. Whatever situations life gives us, sometimes it hits us a little bit hard, and we just don't know what to do or how to pull out of it, and it just seems like, man, just a full plate, more than we wanted to get, right? More than we wanted to handle. And when it gets like that, your brain kind of goes on like shutdown mode. It's like, yo, this is a little too much. Chill out. Let's go do something comfy and relax and stay in the bed and chill out, or eat unhealthy, or skip the gym, or don't worry about finances, right? Or whatever it is. I mean, you know what I'm trying to say is like, we we have this thing like, man, it's just so jacked up, right? And it affects so much of us, man. Like, just that's why I like to say, like, motivation can't just be it. Motivation is not enough. Motivation is good enough to get you started, right? But it's not gonna get the job done, right? You need something more than motivation. You need something to affect you at your core values, right? Your foundation, right? Motivation is like that top layer, right? It's like when everything is good and life is good and your plate is empty, right? Or you just got the appetizer, so you like, man, cool, I can handle this, man, these little crab snacks was amazing. Hell yeah, I can't wait for the main course, right? And you're just taking it, and you're just ready for more. Life is good. Like I said, the appetizer is great. You want to continue investing. You want to continue with the website building, the e-commerce, the gym, the diet, the six-pack abs, and the model fit body, right? And then all of a sudden, some curveball hits, or the waiter message jacks up your order and gives you like 2 T-bone steaks with all the servings and a 6-course meal just sitting on your plate, and you're like, man, I can't finish all this food, I'm gonna have to throw it away or chillax, or I could just only eat so much. Like, if you had no choice, it's like, man, I cannot eat all this food. I cannot take all this on my plate at once, right? Coming back to that analogy. So what do you do, right? What do we do? That's why we, as people that's looking for financial freedom, independence, maybe we got goals, we need to actually look at our core. Like, why are we doing these things, right? Excuse me, I keep glancing at my book, Start With Why, right? The reason why it's on top there is the number one is, well, it's the smallest book and it just looks cool, like a little pyramid thing, and Goku's holding it down. But, it's a self-reminder always. It's right there on top looking at me. And every time I glance around the room, I see it. Start with why, right? Even to this day, I've been doing this for a couple of years now, 2-3 years. Not the podcast, like investing, learning, and all that good stuff. It's just now that, I decided to like give back, right? But, it's there as a self-reminder because the do gets hard, right? You need more than motivation. Like I said, you need to hit the core values, and you need to find out why. Start with why. Why do you want to go after this thing, right? It can't be no simple reason like, oh, I just want it because I want it. I want the 6-course meal because I want it. And you're not even that hungry, right? If you're not hungry for the next meal and you order it, most likely you're gonna waste it. Same thing with life, right? Yeah, we want financial freedom, but if you're not really hungry for it, if you don't really want it, and I mean really, really want it, then you're setting yourself up for failure, right? Like I told you, like, my back's jacked up or whatever, but I'm here. I'm talking to you guys. You listen to me or not, I'm here for you, doing this for you and also for myself, as like, hey, don't go back on your values. Don't go back on what you want, right? You can take the easy road out and, close down the podcast and just continue my life, right? But then that will disturb and disrupt my core values, because then I might take that same attitude onto the next project, whatever may be, right? Maybe even work, right? The same attitudes that you carry, like negligence, right? Like, let's say you wanted to get fit, right? Or read a book, and you started off strong and then you stop because of whatever reasons come up, and then you stop, then it's like, no, you might carry that same attitude towards work. Yes, at work you have to go to work and get the job done, but that same attitude is building up in your core values. Like, okay, you might slow down off on your work. You might be strong for a year, 6 months, 5 years, but it might dwindle, right? You might stop caring so much. Your quality might, hamper a little bit, right? Little things like that, man. Like, that's the type of things that people don't really like look at when or consider when you're going after their goals, right? And I truly believe, like, I mean, all of us are kings and queens, like I always say. That's the whole thing, right? Tomorrow's kingdom. All of us are kings and queens, and all of us have the potential for so much more, right? I don't care where you come from, who you are, what you've been through, your race or gender, whatever it is. We have so much potential in us, and we just approach things in the wrong way, right? Because nobody never, taught us these things, or we learned these lessons way too hard, way too late in the game, where we're already set in stone, and now we're like, man, I can't do that, man. What millionaire mindset? No, all right, that's for the millionaires. That's why they have that mindset. No, man, a lot of these millionaires, was started just like us, right? With an idea, and they had their core values. They say, hey, you know what? Why do I want to go after this thing? Why do I want financial independence? Maybe it's to set up my family. Maybe it's to take care of to be with my kids. Maybe if you don't have kids, maybe it's when you have a family, that you're starting a family in a well-off situation where finances is not in that equation, right? It's just health and happiness, right? Those type of things, right? But yeah, and then that's the thing, right? So most of us would even you would even go as far as saying that, yeah, I want it, man, hell yeah. Start with why I want that health, happiness, all that good stuff. I don't want to think about money. I don't want to be rich, but I just want enough money coming in to take care of my family and myself, and and enjoy, love and family and all that good stuff, right? And play with my kids, right? But then you haven't looked at the core values. You haven't dissected and actually built something on inside of you, right? Remember, it's your core, right? These are things that, they say you have to up until the age of 7, and plus or minus a few, whatever. But you have up until the average of 7 years old, where that's your foundation, right? They're kids. They have the personality traits and things, kind of like, that's kind of what they're going to grow up with, right? Now, whatever you have, whatever luggage you're carrying, okay, cool. Now you decided, hey, love, happiness, family, and I want financial freedom. Cool, that's all good things. That's all strong, wise to have, right? To have on your, to you can handle this plate, right? But if you don't have like the discipline, the I sound like a goddamn repeating this thing, core values, right? Like discipline, consistency. Damn, I jacked that word up, but to go after it, right? When times get hard, that's the thing, right? It's like, all right, cool. Life is good. You could come up with all the scenarios you want and all the whys you want, and have all that good stuff. But when it gets hard, do you have what it takes to push through? Because it will get hard. Now that's the difference between true entrepreneurs, true millionaires and stuff that started off from zero, like us. They was willing to endure and not waver on their core values, right? Which is like, having like enough discipline, understanding that this thing I'm going after requires sacrifice, Man, I mean, requires so much sacrifice. not just on the mind, the body, your loved ones. Let's say you have a family, requires a sacrifice for them, on them. They have to sacrifice also. Everybody has to understand that this thing we're going after, you know, ain't no easy thing, man. Ain't no easy thing. I told you. I broke my back. Nah, I just fractured my back. Fractured my back some years ago. The doctor said that, I'll be jacked up for a pretty long time. So it's just now affecting me, which is in turn now affecting Tomorrow's Kingdom. It's affecting the podcast, the YouTube channel, my goals. Like I tell you, last week I was in a rut and I just felt like, yo, man, even today, I just wanted to go like, man, probably, let me see, it's 30 minutes ago, I just wanted to go lay down and just bust out a nice 6-hour nap, right? And just be good. No food, I don't need nothing, just put me in the bed, cover up, it's cold over here, I'm good, But pull myself out of it. I said, you know what? The work must get done, right? This needs to happen. Am I getting paid from this? No. Right? Is anybody sponsoring this thing? No. Do I have like 1 million listeners that's tuning in for this podcast? No. Right? Maybe one, hopefully, right? But what drove me to say, instead of going resting my back and taking some pills and just chilling out, right? What drove me to say, screw the bed, get my butt in this chair with a cup of coffee and start running my mouth like I usually do? It's the fact that I know that I have to do this. It's not just for you. I wish somebody can listen to this and understand what I'm trying to say and maybe implement some of these things. Maybe some doesn't agree, some do, but maybe just take one key thing and implement it in your life as well. But this is more also for me, because saying like I have to, right? And I don't want to back down on my word, and I don't want to back down and disrupt my core values that I'm trying to rebuild now. Because for a long time, over 30 years, my core values was comfy, laziness, no discipline, no responsibility other than going to work, right? Being a good 9-to-5er, and now trying to break that, like many of us is trying to break that now in 2021 and just, be and reach the potential and talent that's in us and achieve goals. May it be just reading books or maybe not even financial independence, right? Because, if you're happy, you're winning. You don't have to be financially free to be happy, right? Maybe be the best 9-to-5er you can, right? Be the number 4 or 5 in your company, and that's good, right? You get some pay raises and stuff, but trying to rebuild on the core values, because the ones that most likely we have or have right now, right, is a little bit on like mixed, like unwired, right, like cross-wired, right? Maybe some things is good to have. Maybe you have like good chivalry, right, or maybe good personality. Everybody likes you, but maybe you don't take enough responsibility for your actions, right? Maybe something like that. So how do we work on these things? It's by challenging yourself, holding yourself accountable, and just we're building it from the ground up. Start with small tasks. Start with small tasks and just tell yourself like, hey man, maybe, like I say, if it's books, start with small tasks, right? Hey, I'm gonna read a page a day. Okay, cool. When you start knocking that down, maybe read a book every 3 months. All right, cool. Maybe now you're knocking that down. Maybe read a book a month, right? Whatever it is, right? Just start with small tasks, hold yourself accountable, and don't let that go, right? Don't overwhelm yourself also, right? It could be tempting because you have so much stuff. You know what? I'm going to read a book. I'm going to start a website. I'm going to do Instagram. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But if you're not capable of handling all that responsibility at once, You probably are capable of doing it once you get into a routine and you notice you can handle more. But until you reach that level, you shouldn't start off at that level, right? Maybe that's something that you should build up to. Like I know for myself, I started off small, reading. I over 30 years and stuff. I didn't really read no books, and then I started reading. Took me like 3 months to finish one book. Then I got a little bit faster and a little bit faster. Then I said, okay, maybe I could handle maybe reading a book and watching 8 hours of YouTube education, right? And then I was like, okay, maybe I can handle more. Maybe I can handle more. That's the type of things we need to do. So, man, yeah, it can be hard. And don't worry about it too much. Just understand that, it will get hard. It sucks. I mean, nothing good in life comes easy, right? I mean, we kind of understand this, but when we actually go down this road, then we actually feel it. It's a difference than, seeing something, hearing something, than going through something, right? So, and if you're in the strong era now, right? If you're in the happy zone and everything's cool, good. I'm happy for you. I'm truly happy, and I wish that that your happy scenario, your happy situation stays that way. But just remember that nothing good, I mean, it's not gonna last forever, right? Something, somewhere, somehow is going to happen, and you need to be ready to face it, to push through it. Maybe you break your back, you know what I mean? And you guys stand up there and do a podcast, or sit down there and do a podcast. You know what, man? Sometimes it's hard to just get in the seat, much less talk, right? You know. Well, kings and queens, it's been another good episode. I hope y'all got a lot out of it, got some value. If you have any topics, questions, comments, or something you just want to show some love and just hit me up, you can hit me up at Kelvin, KELVIN, at tomorrowskingdom.com. All those links are there, the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter, everywhere, right? I'd just like to hear from you guys what you think about it. Has this happened to you? Are you going through this now? Do you need an extra push? Hit me up, man. I know how it is, man. I know how you feel. Sometimes we do need a little extra advice or encouragement or tips. What to do next. Like, hey, man, I'm stuck in a rut. No matter where you are, right? All countries, man, we have ups and downs. You know what I mean? So, on that note, like I said, kings and queen, y'all stay safe, stay financially sound, most of all, stay blessed. Peace.